Hello?
Miss Lestico, guess what time it is?
What time?
It's time for math!
Yay!
Hey, first grade, welcome back to math.
That's right, we have another day of learning about our 3D shapes. Y'all did such a good job last week.
They sure did, and I am so excited to keep learning about these shapes.
Well, our target today is the exact same. It is still, I can identify 3D shapes, their attributes, and real-life examples.
Now, I remember, Miss Lestico, 3D shapes are those solid shapes that are made up of those flat or 2D shapes.
That's right. Our 2D shapes are flat. So if we put it on the ground and sat on top of it, well, we would still be on the ground.
That's right.
But if we put a 3D shape on the ground and sat on top of it, it would lift us off of the ground. It has that dimension, that shape to it.
That's right. And before we get started today, we have a really cool video to watch.
I'm a 3D shape expert. Here are the 3D shapes that I know. A sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. A baseball, the moon, and an orange I have right here are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a sphere. A basketball, the earth, and marbles I have here are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a sphere. Here are the 3D shapes that I know. A sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. A soda can, a pencil shaft, and a can of soup would be examples of a cylinder, as you can plainly see. A marker, a glass of milk, and a peanut butter jar are all examples of a cylinder. Yes, I'm sure they are. Here are the 3D shapes that I know. A sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. An ice cube, a cardboard box, and a Christmas present for you are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a cube. My little dice, a sugar cube, and blocks that I use are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a cube. Here are the 3D shapes that I know. A sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. An ice cream cone, a pencil tip, and a megaphone are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a cone. A birthday hat, a traffic cone, or a funnel in my home are all examples of a 3D shape that people call a cone. Here are the 3D shapes that I know. A sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone. A paperweight, Egyptian pyramids, and some tents would be examples of a pyramid, as you can plainly see. Here are the 3D shapes that I know. A sphere, a cylinder, a cube, and a cone.
That was a very helpful video, Miss Lestico.
It really is. I loved seeing what shape it was, what name it was, and then some really awesome world life examples of those shapes.
That's right. We see shapes everywhere. Well, I think we should practice identifying some shapes, and we've got a whole bunch of those 3D shapes on the board.
Well, okay, I'm going to pick a card, and then I'm going to have to find that 3D shape on our board. The first one I'm looking for is a cone.
Okay, let's see. I know a cone has rounded edges. It has one flat circle face. It comes to a point, but it's not a vertex or a vertice because it doesn't have any edges that are coming together. So which one would be a cone?
Oh, I also remember that a cone kind of looks like an ice cream cone or maybe a traffic cone that you see. And I can definitely see that this would be our cone.
That's right.
I can see that circle bottom right here as our face. And then even though we have a point up top, there are no real vertices because these are actual edges. It's a curved line going all the way around our 3D shape.
Great job, Miss Lustico. Okay, my turn. I'm looking for the triangular prism.
Ooh, I remember a triangular prism has those two triangle faces, and then it has some more rectangle faces. And
it kind of looks like a tent,
it does
right?
kind of look like a
Okay, so
tent.
triangular prism, it's long, it has some triangles, and it also has some rectangles. And Miss Lustico, this looks like a tent. It's a triangular prism because I see a triangle face right here, and I know a triangle face would be on the other side, and then I have these rectangle faces. So this is my triangular prism right here.
Well, next I'm looking for a cube.
Ooh.
Oh, a cube has faces that are shaped like a square, which means it's all equal sides. They're
that's
all
right.
the same length.
They all have to be square faces because every part of the cube needs to be the same size. So,
Oh, well, this one looks really equal. All of those sides look the exact same. So that would be my cube.
that's right. And I know something about a cube, Miss Lustico.
What, Miss Lynn?
I'm looking for a rectangular prism. And a cube and a rectangular prism are very, very similar because they have the same number of faces, they have the same number of edges, and the same number of vertices. They all have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 faces, but on a cube, they're all square faces. On a rectangular prism, they're rectangles. They might have a couple square faces, but primarily they are rectangle faces. And I can remember that a rectangular prism a lot of times looks like a box of tissues or maybe a present or something like that.
That's right. It's kind of like our cube, but just stretched out kind of long.
Yeah, and it could be this way too, Miss Lustico. It could be up and down like that. All of these shapes, just like our 2D shapes, if you turn them any different way, they're still the same shape because their attributes haven't changed.
Well, next I'm looking for a sphere. Ooh, that's a kind of tricky one to say, Miss Lime. Making that PH in the middle throws it off. But you just have to say it really slowly to know it's a sphere.
Sphere. Well, what is a sphere?
A sphere. Oh, I remember. A sphere is kind of like a ball or a globe. So it doesn't have any edges.
No, it's totally round.
It doesn't have any faces. It doesn't have any vertices. It's one giant curved line. Well,
oh, there it is.
there it is. This is a lot of the shapes that you might see in everyday life because, well, I see balls all the time.
That's right. We have like basketballs at recess, maybe cotton balls, all sorts of stuff. Okay, our next card says pyramid. Now, Miss Lustico, I know we learned about a square or a rectangular pyramid and a triangular pyramid. And they're pretty similar because they had a base and then they had triangle faces that came up to a point. And we are going to call that one a vertex. Multiple would be a vertice because that has the edges that are coming together. But they're different because this I know is a square or a rectangular pyramid because of the base. The shape of it is a square. I know that this one is a triangular pyramid because that base or the bottom part, the flat part that it sits on, is a triangle. So they're both pyramids, but they're just different kinds of pyramids.
That's right. And because our triangular pyramid has a triangle at the bottom instead of a square, we also know that it has one less vertice, one less edge, and one less face.
That's
just because
right.
it's a triangle instead of a square.
Well, Miss Lester, I'm looking. This is our only shape we haven't labeled. What is that?
Oh, this would be a cylinder. And we know a cylinder kind of looks like a can or a water bottle. It has two faces that are in the shape of a circle and then one curved line going around the outside.
That's right. Like Miss Lustico said, I could see it as like a can of soda, a can of soup, maybe your glue stick. And it doesn't have to be tall. Cylinders can be short and really round, like a can of tuna, if you've ever seen that. There's all sorts of cylinders everywhere.
Well, there are all sorts of 3D shapes everywhere that you might look, and I hope you're getting to practice talking with your family, maybe even at school, about the 3D shapes that you see in your classrooms or all around you.
That's right. There are so many amazing shapes, and we love hearing all the shapes you're finding. Well, now it's your turn.
That's right. On Seesaw, you're going to have a shape activity to do, labeling those shapes, maybe telling some examples and the sides and vertices.
Pay close attention to those shape attributes. We can't wait to see the amazing work you do. And of course, when you're all done, make sure you click that green check mark.
Good luck.